LSU football recruiting is hot right now. The Tigers been on a blaze lately. 2024 class, 2025 class. I mean, this team is looking scary, and the program is recruiting at an elite level right now. Everybody else in the SEC should take notice because Brian Kelly and his recruiting staff have got it going on right now, which is interesting because right now, as we've talked about a lot on this channel, there's a lot of changes being made. The coaching staff, personnel, things of that nature, players transferring in and out. But still, the elite recruits around the country and around the state are coming to Baton Rouge, liking what they're experiencing, and are excited clearly about the future of where this program is going. So I think right now this team is the hottest on the recruiting trail of any college. There's a lot of buzz right now. The question is, can they continue to bottle that up and keep that going moving forward? So we'll start with 2024 because they added a really key commitment there on New Year's Eve, New Year's Day at about midnight there when the ball dropped. And then 2025 got even better earlier this week. So 2024, that class was kind of hovering around the 12th or 13th spot, so top 15. But, you know, the SEC recruits very well. So that was good for like 4th or 5th in the SEC. But LSU stayed on the trail, stayed after some of the guys that were uncommitted or committed elsewhere that were kind of wavering in their decision, right? And one of those guys was Dominick McKinley, an in-state 5-star, the number 1 player in the state of Louisiana, defensive tackle, defensive line prospect, but probably defensive tackle. Was committed to Texas A&M for a long time, but obviously there's been some coaching turnover there. The head coach, Jimbo Fisher, obviously fired, resigned, whatever. And then the defensive coordinator left. So they had a ton of shakeup there, and the people that he committed to play for were no longer there. So Brian Kelly and company go in home. They go and make the short trip to Acadiana there, visit him, and we don't hear much for the next couple of weeks. And McKinley is going to play in the Under Armour All-American game. And then, the ball's dropping there on New Year's Eve, and right at midnight, you see the commitment graphic on social media. Dominick McKinley committed to LSU. Happy New Year, Tigers fans. I mean, that was awesome and a great way to end the 2024 class. With that verbal commitment, because he still has to sign in February here, the second signing day, put LSU in the top 10, up to number 8 in the country. It's obviously a position of need. The defense was terrible this year. The defensive line wasn't great. And the future of the position is kind of bleak because Mekhi Wingo just declared for the draft. He could come back. He has a couple days here to rethink that if he wants to. Jordan Jefferson, the West Virginia transfer, he declared. And then a guy like Quincy Wiggins, a former high 4-star, 5-star kind of kid, transferred to Colorado. So you're really losing a lot of players, a lot of bodies, a lot of elite guys in that room. So you needed someone to fill that void. And I think that Dominick McKinley can do that, perhaps even in his first year. So to kind of zoom out and take the bird's eye perspective, what's the one thing that we've talked about all offseason and Brian Kelly has emphasized since he got here? Lock down the state of Louisiana, right? And this cycle, LSU kept 10 of the top 11 players from the state of Louisiana home. They signed the number 1 guy. Everybody else 1 through 11, except for one who decided to go to Texas. Could change his decision. Maybe he'll transfer back the way it's been going right now. But that's awesome. That's how you put a fence up around the state, lock it down, keep the best players from Louisiana in Louisiana. They've done that in 2024. And they're doing that in 2025 as well. LSU's got the 5th best class among anybody in the 2025 cycle at this point. And it got better yesterday when Harlem Berry, a 5-star from the New Orleans area, St. Martin's Episcopal High School, committed to LSU on national TV at the Under Armour All-American game. So right now they got 7 commits. 5-star Corey Moore from Texas, a wide receiver. He's a stud. Now 5-star Harlem Berry, who I just mentioned. You've also got 4-star linebacker Keelan Moses from U-High, who we got to go see commit in person, and we'll get to see next season in his senior year with the Cubs. And you've also got a 3-star offensive lineman, a 3-star tight end who's a beast. You got a 3-star corner and a wide receiver. So you got a lot of different positions already taken care of. You're checking the boxes, but the elite guys are wanting to play at LSU. Like a guy like Harlem Berry, in the past maybe would go to an Alabama, an Auburn, an Ole Miss, because he doesn't want to stay home and LSU wasn't giving him reasons to stay. A guy like Corey Moore, a 5-star from Texas, would seem like a lock to A&M or Texas or one of those other blue blood type schools. Not anymore. People want to come play here. They just had the Heisman Trophy winner. They're going to send 2 wide receivers, potentially first-round wide receivers, to the NFL this year. People want to come and play in this offense for Brian Kelly and this staff in Baton Rouge, and it's very exciting. And I heard Keelan Moses say it at his commitment. This class is going to be scary. I'm going to let him say it, his words about what he wants this class to be and what he's going to do to bring these elite-type recruits to LSU. Take a listen.
Oh,
Get this class situated.
y'all just don't know. I'm bringing the whole country with me. Y'all finna watch. I'm telling you, we finna have the best class in the country. I promise. By the time I'm done, we're gonna be the number 1 in everything. This is just the beginning of it all.
So sometimes you'll hear kids say that, like, yeah, we want to have a scary class. You want to be the class to change the, narrative, whatever. And, sometimes it plays out that way, and they end up getting a top 10 class that has a lot of excitement and buzz. But then other times there's it's just all talk and there's no action. But right now there's action being backed up by the talk, and he's kind of, hinting at these things on social media, like, wait for the next one, look who's coming next, and then Harlem Berry hops on board, and there's a lot of other guys, the ball is rolling, things are moving in that direction, the dominoes are falling, so we'll have to wait and see on some of them. Bryce Underwood, more on him in a second, but back to Berry. He's a beast from about an hour away, plans to enroll early next winter, so that'd be January of 25, ran for over 2,000 yards last year with St. Martin's. Also over 400 receiving yards. So he's a really, dual threat kind of running back. He can run it well. He can receive it well. A guy that LSU doesn't really have on its roster at this point. And he talked about the history of running backs at LSU. It's obviously very rich. Leonard Fournette, Kevin Falk, other guys like that. He talked about the history, the rich tradition of running backs at this school. And he wants to come here and be a different kind of running back, right? He wants to change the narrative, so to speak, and bring a different flavor because he can be dynamic, because he can be explosive, because kind of the narrative on LSU running backs historically is big guys, stocky, bulky guys that'll run you over and more of like the power type of backs. But he wants to be the different style of running back at LSU. So that's exciting to hear. So who's left in 2025? Who are the other guys that they want to bring in to make this one of the best recruiting classes ever, not only in LSU history, but college football recruiting history? How about Bryce Underwood? We've talked about him on this show. 5-star from Michigan. He's a quarterback, can zip it. I saw him play in the state championship game. They lost, but he balled out. He's a Jaden Daniels type of talent. He's got everything you could want in a quarterback. He's explosive. He's dynamic, seems to be a leader. He's committing on January 6th. That's just a couple of days from now. It's a significant date for him, so it doesn't seem like this is the kind of thing where he's going to back out and change the date. So in just a couple of days, LSU may have its quarterback of the future. He's visited Baton Rouge many times. He's also been to Michigan, USC, Colorado. All of the schools want him, obviously. When you're a 5-star quarterback, that's the case. Most recently, he's been to Alabama. He visited there in December, been there a few times. Usually the last school to get a visit will get the commitment, but that doesn't always seem to be the case. I think it's a Michigan and LSU race, and he's really liked LSU every time he's been here. So I can't necessarily lodge a prediction, but I'd be feeling good if you're an LSU fan because he knows what this place is about. He's gotten to talk to and see Jaden Daniels play in person. That could easily be him. So what if he commits? You got a 5-star receiver, a 5-star running back, and a 5-star quarterback. That is a scary trio that will be unstoppable and scary for other SEC teams for years to come. So wait and see on that one. That would be a wild and massive pickup for LSU, and that 2025 class would instantly become one of the best, perhaps ever, in college football recruiting history. So, take a breath. I mean, that would just be absolutely insane if they can also bring in Bryce Underwood and add him to the fold. And then one other note I wanted to add in here, Eli Holstein, the former Zachary quarterback, is in the transfer portal. He played with the Broncos, led them to a state title in 2021, went to Alabama, and is now in the portal after 1 year. So he spent his freshman season there, didn't see the field from what I understand. They had a lot of quarterback controversy, and he decided that he wants to find a new destination. So I know LSU brought in A.J. Swan from Vanderbilt. They've got Garrett Nussmeier back. He looked great in the bowl game. Ricky Collins is on the roster. Colin Hurley coming in as well, too. But maybe LSU looks to add one more guy to that quarterback room because Nussmeier will have a couple of years, and then maybe Holstein could compete with Collins, kind of like when it was Zachary against Woodlaw in there in high school, for that starting job in the future. So just wanted to throw that out there. I don't think it's likely that he comes to LSU just because there's so many bodies in that quarterback room, but it is possible, so I'm throwing it out there as a possibility. Certainly a name to keep an eye on, and of course we love our local talents when they go to the next level, and hopefully he could find a good home that will offer opportunities for him to see the field a little bit more than he did in Tuscaloosa there. So, hey, LSU recruiting is hot. 2024 class looking great. It's pretty much all signed, sealed, and delivered. Got to get McKinley to sign on the dotted line, the 5-star from Acadiana. And then that one's done. Perhaps a few more guys in the transfer portal they might look to add to. 2025, those off to a great start. This class wants to be legendary. The guys in it are taking ownership and responsibility of locking down the state, showing out for Louisiana, and turning the narrative, changing the narrative, and setting this program up for big success in the future. Not 10-3 seasons, 13-0, 14-0 seasons, national championships, SEC championships. That's what this class wants to do at LSU. So if you're a Tiger fan, you should be pretty darn excited about that.